Hello everyone, my name is Cherie, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. I ran across a really interesting special interest story about a quilter. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at that story, and I'm going to chime in with my commentary. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
This 86-year-old woman works year-round to bring warmth to those in need with her exquisite quilts.
Ashley Hendricks has more in this week's Acts of Kindness.
How many squares does it take to make a quilt?
I'm going to follow that question with yet another question. How many of you use your kitchen countertops for cutting fabric? I know that I don't, because there's other people in my household, and even though I clean the countertops, there's always somebody going to the kitchen for a snack, and I know that I would eventually get food on my quilts. So for that reason, I don't do that.
Janet Bettinger will tell you it all depends on the person.
I started quilting with my church group. We were making quilts to raffle. And then my children started to get married, so I started making quilts for them.
You see, this is how it always starts. It always starts with one small project, and then all of a sudden, you have an entire room full of fabric.
And then my grandchildren.
This is my fabric.
With the closet stuffed with fabrics and thread, her quilts come in all different colors, sizes, and unique designs.
It's not hard. It's time consuming.
She is very right about that. Quilting is extremely time consuming. And for that reason, I understand why a lot of people that work a full-time job don't quilt, because by the time that you get off from work, cook, and do everything that needs to be done, there's very little time to quilt.
And to me, it's fun.
This is where the magic happens. And there isn't a day that goes by that Janet doesn't do what she loves.
So it looks like she's using a Singer 301. Here are some of the original advertisements for the Singer 301. And I find it quite interesting that this sewing machine is still in high demand today. Even when the machine was made all the way back in the 1950s, we still see so many people using this machine and looking for it on places like eBay and things like that.
For years, her home was the meeting space for a handful of quilt makers. She recently downsized to this apartment, but that hasn't slowed her down a bit. Between the hospitality chapter of the Richmond Quilt Guild, St. Augustine Church, and the JB Charity Quilters, she can't keep up with how many she's made over the decades.
I know that a lot of quilters downsize or move to a smaller space, or just downright have a small space to begin with. Quilting in a small space is an art in and of itself, because you got to have enough room between the sewing machine and the wall in order for your quilt to be able to slide back and forth. But there are some techniques that we can use in order to be able to make a larger quilt without needing that much space.
She's done a big push for the Christmas Mother, and our group on a whole has donated over 100 quilts for this year.
With the Christmas Mother, we know that most of them go to senior citizens who probably don't get anything else for Christmas.
I'm not necessarily about giving out gifts specifically for holidays, but I do think that it is important to give back to the community and to make things for people year round. So I hope that we can all feel inspired by this lady and try to think of ways that we can give back to our communities.
And I think that's very important, to have something.
Group member Dee Klotz says the work being done in this small room has truly been an inspiration.
I think it brings an enormous amount of comfort, physical, emotional, to those that maybe don't have visitors, or they're shut-ins themselves, or just generally families that need to provide some warmth, for their children.
It's why Dee reached out to us.
I want to nominate you for the Acts of Kindness Award for all that you have done for the community in your quilting, and so much time and energy has gone into it. So Channel 12 agreed, and they have $300 for you and a
Thank you
gift
so
card.
much.
Well deserved.
I think this is a really good thing that she has done for the community, and bravo. I wish that one of these sewing machine companies out here would see her story and donate her a really, really nice top of the line machine. I know the 301 is nice, but she might like to play with a new toy, because who wouldn't? I think this story is really nice. It really warmed my heart, so I really had to talk about this one. Now, I think that there are some other things that we might be able to give to those in needs besides a quilt, because a quilt is something that you use to maybe lay on the couch with or lay in the bed with. But I realize that there are a lot of homeless out here and a lot of people who don't have a home anymore, like those in Asheville who lost their homes. So what I found was, hold on one second, let me see if I can pull this up. I found these coats here, and I think these coats made out of quilted materials are awesome because you can use scrap fabric. And I know that everybody wears a different size. However, it is the thing to wear a oversized coat. So what if all of them could be made in like a large and a extra large for the women, and then an extra large and a 2XL for the men? And then you could give those out, and regardless of what size that you are, pretty much everybody could fit into those. I know there's some outliers, but probably not all that many. So my thought is to make these sorts of coats out of quilted materials, the scrap fabric and things like that, and to donate that to perhaps a assisted living facility, or to the homeless shelter, or to the children's orphanages around. I think it would be an excellent idea to do that. Guys, please let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section below. Are you looking to make any things to give to the community? If so, what and how? And maybe we could all group together and be a part of something together. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as I would love to hear from you.